Good morning, everyone. This is now the 5th day of my trip, and a little bit windy this morning. Usually down in the canyons, it is fairly calm in the morning, but I've also noticed that there's been some times when it gets a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler, so it could just be that as the sun is coming up, it's warming certain areas and creating the wind from that. But my goal for today is to head up the canyon, go to some of the areas where I saw those cottonwood trees yesterday, because I think some of those might be good to shoot toward the middle of the day. So it'll be interesting to see what I could find. There are so many trees, so many possibilities. And that's one of the interesting things about getting to know a new canyon like this. I know this is an area that'll keep me busy for quite a while. The canyon I visited earlier in this trip, that was my 6th consecutive year visiting that canyon. And so a canyon like this could keep me busy for just as long. If I can keep wandering here, I got a couple more miles to go. And, we'll see what kind of subject I can find, and hopefully the wind stays calm. So it's right around 10 o'clock. And I came to a section of the canyon that I hiked through yesterday and set up my camera with my 450 lens, and it's windy right now. There's clouds that are going over, and both of those make it very difficult to take a photo because ultimately I need to have the wind to be very calm, and I need to have sunny skies. And you'll notice even as I'm recording video, it's kind of getting darker and brighter because these really small clouds are going over. But if you look back at that tree over there, that is what I have a composition set up. And you'll see here comes the sunlight right now. You can watch this glow form in the background. Give it a second here. Starting to build there. And so what happens is that there's light bouncing off a sandstone wall over here, which is reflecting it down into the canyon there. And so I have these alternating patches of sunlight, then cloud, sunlight, then cloud, and then there's wind mixed in there. I did expose a single sheet of Provia 100F at a moment when the sun was hitting the cliffs over here and the wind was calm, and there have not been many breaks like that. It's usually they're both happening at the same time, or then it's one. But I do feel good about exposing the sheet of film. I think it's gonna be a little tricky shooting today just because of the wind, but I knew that would be the case. I also found a few other subjects I think will make for very good photos, maybe not on this trip, but maybe on future visits. But it's absolutely beautiful here. There's so many opportunities. But I should probably get the camera packed up now, because after exposing the sheet of film, direct sunlight is going to start creeping into the composition. But it feels good to expose some film, and we'll see what else I can find. So it's been about an hour or so since I shot that photo, and the clouds have actually built in a little bit more. It's still mostly blue sky, but the clouds are a little bigger than they were before, and it seems like we're in shade more so than in sun. And the wind has also built in quite a bit. So I'm really glad I was able to expose at least that one sheet of film, and we'll see how it is. Hopefully the light was decent, hopefully the wind was calm, but it was the one opportunity I had to photograph that scene. But now I'm just wandering around, and this area here is fascinating because if you look at the ground behind me there, it's like this greenish, purplish stone, really splotchy looking. And it's a resistant layer of stone where as the floods come through, it goes over the top of it. So I found the areas that have this resistant layer of stone, you have the cottonwoods nearby, because it forces some of the groundwater to come up, and then they can tap into that. But even though it's windy, even though it's cloudy, and even though it's very difficult to shoot photos right now, I'm quite fine with it, because this gives me an opportunity to scout around and to get to know this canyon and to try to find subjects without the pressure of having to shoot them like right now. So beautiful here. So it is going on 3 o'clock, and done a lot of wandering today. Earlier today I found a pretty cool tree here, and it was really windy, it was really cloudy, but I used my little artist's view catcher to see if I can frame a composition on it, and found something that I liked. So went back to camp, made some lunch, then hiked back here again. And now the wind still has its moments, but it's better than earlier, and there's a lot more sunlight than earlier too. So what I'm going to wait for is for the sun to slide back behind this large canyon wall here, so that the tree will go into shade, everything there will go into shade, and the light source will be the canyon wall just behind the camera here, reflecting some light into the scene. And I definitely think that there's a possibility I might be able to photograph this scene today. All I need is blue skies and calm wind. And if I am able to photograph this, there's another scene further down canyon, pretty close to camp, that I wouldn't mind photographing as well. But if it is possible to photograph several subjects on the same day in a brand new canyon I'd never been to before, it's pretty awesome. It took a while. There comes the wind again. There's always a break in the wind. Almost always. Well, that worked out pretty well. I got here at about 2 p.m. and it's now about 5 p.m. And so I waited for the light to change, and you can see the tree there is in reflected light right now. And then waited for the wind to calm, and there are no clouds in the sky at all right now. So by sitting here and waiting, and it was at times very, very windy, but the wind calmed down, the clouds went away, and I had a window to actually expose 2 sheets of Provia on this scene. So it feels very, very good, especially compared to how windy and cloudy and ominous it was earlier today. But now I'm going to start getting things packed up. I'm going to head back to camp, and on the way there I'm going to see if there's any other subjects that really catch my attention. You can see there's still a bit of wind. Hold on to my camera here. Still a bit of wind, but there's also moments of calm, which is nice. Considering it was just so absolutely calm just a moment ago, and now it's crazy windy. But I'm going to get things packed up, head back down canyon, see if anything else catches my eye. I have 4 more sheets of film with me, and also there's a possibility of shooting some stuff on the hike out tomorrow morning. But it feels great to expose some film. Well, I'm pretty excited to have found yet another tree to photograph. So I had just packed up my camera after shooting the vertical image of that one really nice cottonwood tree. And I noticed just a little ways down the canyon, there was another beautiful cottonwood that was set against a wonderful wall of desert varnish. And it had some direct sunlight on it, but I knew that it would pretty soon fall into reflected light. So I had time to set up my camera, and I exposed a single sheet of Provia 100F, and the wind was really, really calm, so I feel really good about that. I had scouted at that tree earlier in the day. I couldn't quite figure out when the light would be best on it, but when I saw it this afternoon, I knew that I should definitely make use of this opportunity. So really, really happy to have exposed quite a few sheets of film on 3 different subjects today. Now it's time to head back to camp. It's about a 45-minute hike or so. Make myself some dinner, and I'm gonna hike out of here tomorrow. But my hike will take me past all the subjects I shot today. So if I see anything in morning light that looks really nice, I'll have 3 more sheets of film that I could potentially expose. But once I get back to my truck, next destination will be Capitol Reef. I'm looking forward to that. This is an absolutely beautiful canyon. I'm looking forward to dinner. Good morning, everyone. Got camp packed up, and I'm gonna head back to the trailhead. And along the way back to my truck, there's gonna be plenty of things to shoot, and I still have 3 sheets of film, and the conditions this morning are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely calm, no clouds in the sky. So we'll see. I might find something to point my camera at. But one of the things about getting to know a new canyon like this is I know the process takes a long time, and I'm happy to expose some film on a handful of subjects and to leave a lot of really nice subjects behind for next time. But last night, man, when I got back to camp, it was so windy during the day that my tent was just blasted with sand, and my sleeping bag was just completely filled with sand. So I had to clean everything out. And then during the night, it got really windy again. And my tent was like vibrating in the wind, and dust was getting swirled around. So, yeah, all part of the fun. But I had the best night's sleep last night. I think the sound of the river and just the satisfaction of having had some really wonderful conditions yesterday. And when I have those really good nights of sleep, I have these really vivid dreams. And so I had a dream last night that my wife and we got a rescue wolf. So a pet wolf, this beautiful, huge black wolf with really, really gleaming white teeth. And he was a handful. He was a rather bitey fellow, and probably wasn't the best of decisions to get a rescue wolf, but nonetheless, we did it. But I've got about a 3-mile hike, not 3-mile hike, but a 3-hour hike. It's probably about 5 miles or so from point A to point B, but the canyon winds around a lot. So in reality, it's probably more of about 7.5 miles. But absolutely beautiful, and looking forward to see what I can find along the way. Well, after 3 hours of hiking, I've returned to my truck. I gotta say, this was a spectacular experience. Even though the weather wasn't quite ideal over the past couple days, there's still some breaks in the wind, some breaks in the clouds. And more than anything, it gave me an opportunity to really get to know this canyon. And kind of near where I'm parked here, there are some really beautiful hoodoos I found. Just absolutely stunning colors and formations. And I was looking at them, trying to figure out when the best light would be on those hoodoos. And I think it might be a morning blue hour sort of photo, which means I could always show up here at the trailhead a little bit later in the day, set my camera up, secure it there overnight, and then hike a little ways down the wash to where that is and shoot the photo before sunrise. But it is absolutely beautiful here. It was a fantastic experience checking out this canyon. And I know that this is an area that I'll be returning to year after year for quite a while because there are so many opportunities here. And it's just absolutely beautiful. But now, time to get myself a delicious PB&J, then get things packed up, and I'm going to drive over to Capitol Reef, see if I can find some subjects over there, but mostly do some exploring. But man, oh man, this was fun. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday, after hiking out of the canyon, I'd spent a couple nights and I drove over here to Capitol Reef, and I'm exploring some areas I've never been to before. And the conditions are quite nice today. Blue skies, very calm wind, and I'm at the point of this trip where, I'm pretty happy with the scenes I've found so far. But at the same time, I'd be very happy to set up some more compositions if I can find some cool subjects. So I'm staying with my lightweight kit, my Chamonix Alpinist 8x10, along with my lightweight lenses and then my lightweight backpacking pack. Typically what I would do is I'd go and scout without my camera. I figured since I already have my lightweight set up, might as well just take that around with me. It's so very beautiful here. And the sandstone over here is much more of a lighter color, so the reflected light is a little bit different. But I'm gonna keep wandering here, see if anything catches my eye. I spent the afternoon wandering between beautifully sculpted sandstone walls, among delicate grass, soft sand, and wise old cottonwoods. After spending nearly a week in the field, it was time to relax. I found shelter from the sun in the fluttering shadows of a beautiful old cottonwood tree, and simply listened to the sound of the wind. Of the subjects I photographed over the past several days, I can't say I'm satisfied with any one of them, but that's to be expected when venturing somewhere new, and it's part of the process of getting to know a new location. The photo of the first cottonwood feels awkward to me. Perhaps it's the shape of the tree, the light, or the composition itself. This is a subject I'd love to spend more time with, though hopefully on a day with better conditions. Although I'm fine with the subject and composition of the second photo, the reflected light is perhaps too strong, making it difficult to isolate the tree from the background. Perhaps this subject is better photographed later in the evening, when the light is less intense. The third photo has all the right ingredients: a cottonwood in reflected light, set against a wall of desert varnish. Though something's missing with this photo. Perhaps the tree is just too young and too ideal. It's the wise old trees that have far more to say. In some ways, it should come as no surprise that my favorite photo from this trip was taken in the canyon I've revisited for the past 6 years. To produce meaningful work at a location, we must form a connection with that location, a process that takes both time and patience. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you around next time. If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. For more information on how to support me and my work, please visit the donation section of my website at benhorn.com/donate. I also have prints in my portfolio box set available on my website. You can find a direct link down below in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support.